Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the Mareathon. My name's Mare. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I'd love it if you laced up and subscribed to my channel today. There's a link below, just down here somewhere, for you to subscribe. Also, there's a link down here for you to join the Facebook group, the Mareathoner Facebook group. We are welcoming, we are loving, we'd love for you to join us. Today I wanted to answer a question in the Ask Mare series that we're pseudo starting this year. We'll just see how it goes. A question about the relation between home and grief. And I thought that this was really fascinating, and it's something that has played a huge role in my grief and my coming to terms with what happened and my recovery, if you will, and my growth and moving on and that sort of thing. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Love to have you. My husband Jeremy passed away in June of 2017. He committed suicide, and he just everything in my life changed in 1 second. Like, I feel like my life like cracked, like a huge horrific like crack in the foundation, as if an earthquake, you know, would like tectonic plates would move, you know. And it was just a huge shift for me, and pretty quickly I felt the urge to change the house. So many people asked me why I decided to stay in our home, and there were a few reasons. One, he didn't actually end his life in our house. If he had, I probably never would have even stepped foot back inside. Two, my son Thomas is 7.5 now. This is all he's ever known. This is where we brought him home from the hospital to this house, and so I didn't want, you know, him to lose his dad, and also the only place he's ever known. That just felt like way too much change way too quickly. And lots of people told me not to make any big decisions right away. I could definitely see why someone would want to move, and I will eventually. I've now lived in this house for 10 years, and while I love it, I'm getting to the point lately where I'm starting to feel like a fresh start would be good for me and Thomas. And there's just a lot in this house and in our neighborhood that I think it would be good for us to move away from. But I didn't want to do that. I knew like at least a year or a couple, I didn't want to leave this house. And so I needed to make changes. And for me, I am someone who is very affected by her environment. If things are messy, dirty, out of place, if I don't like the decor, it like physically makes me feel uncomfortable, and I can't concentrate, and I don't like it. And this is really interesting. I recently was looking at this, and it's an actual thing where if you are not necessarily overwhelmed in your life, but if you're overwhelmed in your life, or you have a lot going on in your life, a lot of people, myself included, are drawn to having a minimal space, minimal things. So the juxtaposition of a very busy, full, sometimes overwhelming, stressful life, and then a calm, minimalistic, beautiful home really pair well together. And that is me to a T. When I read this, I was like, yes. There's this thing called decision fatigue. So if you're someone like me who is an entrepreneur, single parent, single woman, you know, X, Y, to a million things, I make a lot of decisions, and a lot of things sit here. They're all on me all the time. Everything with Thomas, his development, he has special needs, so there's a lot with that. My business, making enough money so that we can live here, a million, grief, all these things. It's all right here. So it's quite often that then someone like me would want a very calm, minimal space. And I didn't know that this was a thing, but that was me right away. I was like, I want our home to feel zen. I want Thomas to feel calm and comfortable when he walks in those doors, and myself included. And also, our house had been very tight with tension for a couple years because Jeremy was suicidal on and off for a couple years, and his mental health had been declining rapidly for a few years. So I always felt like I was on eggshells. There was a lot of tension in the house. He was upset often, and there was just really bad energy. So I wanted to like whisk the bad juju out and just have it very calm. And it was pretty quick for me. Now I will say this is just my grief journey, but I had people in my life who judged me, who didn't like it, who got angry that I was changing the house, and that was hurtful. But you just have to agree that we can't judge each other's grief journey. So what's good, is that fuzz? What is this? Oh no, that's just writing. So you have to just agree that everyone grieves differently, and that this is what I found was best for me. And also, unless you've been in this situation, it's impossible to understand how hard it is to live in a house after someone has taken their life or someone has passed away. So I would think that this would kind of be similar to like if you got divorced and your spouse left and it was just your home. Like, I think you'd want to make changes to make it your own. So I quickly started making changes. I'd always wanted, my office used to be in the basement of our house in our laundry room with no lights, no heat, like just no, sorry, I shouldn't say no lights, no natural light, like no windows. And I'd been toying with the idea of wanting to swap my office to be upstairs, which it is now next door, and then take the spare room and move into the basement. So that happened. Jeremy passed away in June. That happened in July because coincidentally all of my family was coming here for like a family reunion, and they were all incredibly helpful. So I donated a lot of Jeremy's old furniture, like bed, dresser, TV stand, like stereo stand, stuff that I think was just hand-me-downs from him or he had had for years. I donated it to a local organization that employs adults with special needs. They make over furniture and then they resell it. They came with a flat deck, and it was just like tons of furniture was gone. And that felt really good because obviously raising a child with special needs, it's great to support that kind of an organization. And I just needed fresh stuff. So I ordered a new bed off of Amazon for the spare room, which my brother and brother-in-law put together. And I ordered like a new TV stand, a new coffee table for the basement, and just like slowly started to put pieces together. The basement, like the TV room, used to be like Jeremy's sanctuary, so it was all his like framed hockey memorabilia, framed music memorabilia. His desk was down there. He had a like very extensive hockey card collection and a wall of CDs, like all of that. My niece took the desk, which was super nice. It was really cool to see her have it in her room when I visited at Christmas. The hockey cards, like all of that stuff. Everything came off the walls, and then there was a zillion holes, so I got it repainted, just a nice, clean, crisp white, like everything white. And then I just put up a few things and like put some Thomas toys down there. Same couch, but different TV stand and coffee table, which I built myself, which felt very like empowering and good. And that was really important to me. So now the spare room is in the basement, and then my office has moved upstairs. And again, my family helped me paint. That room was like an ugly, like, I say pea green, like ugly. So now it's just white. My desk, we just moved upstairs. I bought a new chair from IKEA and just like really decorated it, and that made me feel really good. And then the living room had always been orange. If you've been watching my channel for a few years, you'll remember that because I filmed in that room a ton. And I think a lot of people would have been turned off, but like we liked it. Every room in this house was a different color. Like as you can see, my bedroom's purple. Thomas's room is blue. One of our en-suites is like a rusty red kind of color. And the living room was orange. But before Jeremy passed away, we had sort of started talking about painting it. Anyway, that summer, some friends helped me paint it a really calming gray, and I bought some new decor for that, and I just love it so much. So now when I walk in the door, I find it's very like, I feel this sense of calm when I walk in the door, and that was what I was really going for. And so for me, I changed the house a lot, and I can say that it has been an incredible help in my grieving process. I needed to feel like this was my space. I needed to sort of take that ownership back from what it had been before, with a lot of turmoil and upset and a lot of tears and a lot of really trying years. I wanted to reclaim my house, and I did. And it's been a slow journey. So what I did was I just created a note in my phone. One was everything that I wanted to do, which was itemized. And then another list was everything that I wanted to buy. And I just slowly picked away at it. Like, I wanted low light, so like a lot of twinkle lights. I wanted like a lot of minimal decor. I'm constantly purging and getting rid of stuff. Like, you'll see that. I'm sure if you really pay attention to like the background of my videos, you'll notice that a lot of things like disappear or change, and I like to change it. It feels like this is my home, and this was what was best for me to do for my grief and for the journey that had happened leading up to Jeremy's death, and then how I needed to make sense of it for me and Thomas after. I did take down all of the pictures of him, and I don't feel like I need to justify that or explain that. It's just what was best for me. There is a very large framed collage photo, like compilation in Thomas's room of pictures of Jeremy, and there's one of him and Thomas. There's now a picture of Jeremy and baby Thomas in the basement, but that's only in the last like week or so. It's just what I needed to do. There's a lot of emotion and backstory and pain that happened in the years leading up to Jeremy's death, and I really just needed to not be seeing it all the time. It's here every day. Like, of course I'm thinking about him all the time, but it's just what I needed to do. What I've learned is that everyone grieves in their own way, and you need to respect that. Like, I'm not hurting anyone by taking down the photos. I'm not trying to erase Jeremy from Thomas's memory. Something that's very difficult with him being autistic is he doesn't understand. So it wasn't like I could sit him down and explain, like, your dad has passed away, he's not coming back. Like, yes, I said those things to him, but I don't know. He doesn't understand, you know, he still looks for Jer. So I thought it would be more confusing to see a ton of photos of him all the time and then him be like, well, why isn't he here? So to each their own, you do you. You know, I say that all the time. That's a mantra here in the Mareathon. So those are the ways that off the top of my head, I can think that I changed the house, and it's an ongoing thing. I'm still constantly purging, and I'm definitely purging, even if it's subconsciously, with the mindset that eventually I will sell this house and we will move. Whether that's this year or next year, I think it would just be nice to have a fresh space. So our place is over 1,800 square feet. It's huge. Like, that's way too much space for the two of us. And I would like to have more natural light where our place is sandwiched. Like, there's mountains. Like, some days I'm like, is it raining? I can't even tell. So I think that would be really nice. And there's just a few things. I think it would be good to have a fresh space and start, and not be reminded constantly with, even though I've made changes to the house, this house has been my home for 10 years. Like, we bought this house when we were engaged to be married. So we got married here, you know, had Thomas here, like everything, right? So anyway, I hope that answers your question. If you're grieving and you're thinking about changing your space, I highly encourage it. If you can do anything to make your home more comfortable, more vibrant, more good energy, more helpful. Do it. I definitely believe that my space has helped my grief and has helped me move forward, has helped me achieve what I've achieved in the last year or two, for sure. And it's like a very zen space, to the point where if someone comes in and they have bad energy, it's a real like shock to the system, because I try to keep it so calm. So that's it. Although one last thing I will say, it doesn't have to cost a lot. You can go to thrift stores, garage sales, you can look on the Facebook like buy and sell. Pretty much everything I've gotten has been from like Winners, Home Sense. Those are my two big ones for sure. Amazon is a big one for me. So it doesn't have to cost a lot, but you just need to do what's best for you. So thanks for your question. Thanks for watching. Please lace up, subscribe, become a marathoner. If you have any other questions that you'd like me to do an entire video around, feel free to leave them below. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.